This is Rick Rule for Rule Investment Media, sponsors of the 2024 Natural Resources Investment Symposium, July 7 through 11 in Boca Raton, Florida. Whether you attend in person or you attend at home, it's important that you pay attention to all the pre-conference interviews. We'll have 50 hours of programming in Boca Raton. It is impossible for you to absorb all of the information that we are going to give you. So it's important that you use the time before the conference to listen to these interviews to determine which companies you would like to visit and which speakers that you would like to listen to. Please note that every public company exhibitor has been vetted, which is to say every public company exhibitor in my portfolios or in portfolios that are partly owned and managed by myself. Today's interview is no exception. Today, I'll be interviewing Dave Kelley, CEO of Chakana Copper Corporation. Dave, to begin with, thank you for your efforts on behalf of shareholders, including myself. And thank you, too, for your ongoing support of the Natural Resources Investment Symposium. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you, Rick. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's start with the value proposition. I should give credit that Doug Silver, a speaker at this year's conference, and a friend of mine introduced me to the Chakana opportunity, saying that at the price that we subscribed, that the existing resource could probably be sold for more than the market cap, and that the money was going to be used for exploration upside. Could you tell me something about the existing resource, its size and tenor, and how you came to discover it? In other words, tell us about the value of the company before the exploration efforts that you're undergoing now.
Yeah, Rick. So the existing resource is based on tourmaline breccia pipes, and tourmaline breccia pipes are known for having can have very, very high grades, and in our case, we've seen some very spectacular grades. The resource is just based on 7 breccia pipes. We believe there potentially are 50 to 100 of these breccia pipes in the overall the larger project that we control. And the resource is 6.7 million tons at a copper equivalent grade of 1.88% copper. And as you know, that's 4 to 5 times higher than many of the operating mines globally. It's a small resource. It's open at depth. It will get bigger. We have 154 targets defined on the broader project, and we're setting out now to test many of those additional targets. We also believe that the resource that we have is related to an intrusive center, which, as your readers will know, porphyry copper systems are big, giant bulk tonnage deposits. So we have both the small scale high grade deposit already defined and very well characterized in our drilling to date, but we also have the big tonnage potential to test.
So let's talk more about the exploration upside. That's I was attracted by the fact that my downside was probably covered by the liquidation value of the existing resource. And then, in effect, I had the upside for free. So tell me something about this upside, and tell me something specifically about what your thesis is and how you propose to test this thesis.
Yeah, so the mineral system that we're dealing with is probably about 12 square kilometers. It occupies that area, and when we originally took the first option on this project, we had very prominent tourmaline breccia pipes sticking out of the ground. We recognized that those breccia pipes continued to the south for 4 kilometers. And within that area, we know that tourmaline breccia pipes are formed from an intrusive center. And all of our exploration work spreading to the south identified where we believe is the nucleus of this entire mineral system. And that's the work that we're doing now. We have plenty of additional breccia pipes to test, many of them on the south side in this new permit area that we now have access to. But we've also identified what we believe is the heat engine for the whole mineral system. And distal to that, further south, is a high sulfidation epithermal target area that's already been drilled historically by Buenaventura with some very high grades at surface. And if you recall, we're just 35 kilometers south of the Piarina high sulfidation epithermal deposit that was discovered by Arequipa Resources. In fact, the claims that we're exploring on now were originally part of the 9 properties that Arequipa established when they came into Peru. So we're definitely an elephant country. We're in the same geology as Piarina. We believe we have a porphyry environment, a high sulfidation epithermal environment, and in related to that, all of these high-grade tourmaline breccia pipes.
And is the exploration program that you are currently engaged in targeting all 3 of these deposit types? In other words, are you looking to continue to expand your inventory of high-grade breccia-related copper gold systems while simultaneously exploring for epithermal potential and for the deep copper porphyries?
We are, Rick, and that's exactly what our drill program that's underway right now is for. You know, you helped us fund this drill program. It's a 3,000 meter drill program that started April 5th. We started with a high grade breccia. You know, it's cropping out at surface, so it's not rocket science. It's you know, when you have high grade mineralization cropping out at surface, and you know that these breccia pipes are vertically extensive features, it's a fairly straightforward exercise. You put a couple of drill holes in it to test the grade. If you've got good grade, then it's worthy of drilling deeper at some later point in time. You move on, and we've moved on to the adjacent mega gold target, which is our porphyry target. It's about 2.5 kilometers by 1.5 kilometers, defined by a very, very large and impressive soil gold anomaly. It also has very high molybdenum in part of that soil anomaly. And that really led us to do a series of geophysical surveys over this area and define some very, very attractive features. It's the kind of features that our strategic investor in Goldfields has been very keen to test. You know, they've invested over $12 million since the start to get a seat at the table for us to test this target. So it's a very exciting time for us. And then at the conclusion of the drill program, we'll move the drill rig out to the La Jolla high sulfidation epithermal area and put a couple of drill holes in that. So it's a very exciting drill program because, like you said, we're testing all 3 of those different types of targets.
So is the part of the program that's testing the high-grade breccias as much an exercise in vectoring in on the mineralization to find the porphyries, or is it geared more towards increasing the high-grade inventory around the breccias?
Well, it's actually both. And the reason I was so keen to drill this breccia is because it's right on the edge of the mega gold target area. It's the closest breccia pipe, if you will. If our thesis is correct that the mega gold area is where the intrusive center that's driving the whole district that we're exploring, this breccia pipe, the Estremadura breccia pipe, is the closest to that. So the class, for example, that we see inside the breccia pipe will tell us more about the geology proximal to the mega gold target area than breccia pipes that are distal to it. The geochemical association, the mineralogy, the sulfide mineralogy especially, is going to be very, very interesting to look and see if that's providing a vector. So yeah, it's both. It's technical exploration, geoscience, if you will, and it's also reminding the market that we do have a high-grade breccia resource. We believe it's going to get bigger. It's open at depth. We have numerous additional targets to test, and it's just part of the inventory of targets that we have.
Dave, let's move on to analogs for the epithermal system. I guess the deposit analog is the closest to you, which is to say Piarina. Am I accurate in that the golden soil anomaly around an epithermal district is geared towards discovery of a Piarina-style deposit?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the model, if you take the Silito or Hedenquist model of high sulfidation epithermal deposits, by definition, they are related to a porphyry center, and many of the world's greatest high sulfidation epithermal deposits transition into a high level porphyry environment and in at depth into a pure porphyry environment. That's exactly what happens at Yanacocha. And as you know, Newmont has a $2 billion sulfide expansion project that they've been working on in northern Peru to go after that high level porphyry environment. So it's all part of the same model. Our high sulfidation epithermal system is about 2 kilometers to the south of the porphyry center at a higher elevation. So from a zoning standpoint, it matches perfectly with the model. Oftentimes the porphyry can be right, directly beneath the high sulfidation epithermal environment, and sometimes it's distal. It depends on the structural geology that's controlling the fluid flow. But yeah, it's all related, and it's confirmation to us that we're in the right environment when you have a world-class asset just 35 kilometers to the north.
For the listeners' benefit, the market cap here of Chakana is something around 16 or 18 million dollars. Purina, the gold analog, sold 20, 25 years ago for a billion Canadian dollars. Let's move on to the deposit analog for the copper porphyry. How can people understand, with regards to referring to another deposit of this type, the order of magnitude of what you're looking for?
Well, yeah, the porphyry target type, of course, most of the world's copper comes from mining porphyry deposits. It's the most prolific source of copper on the planet. And most of the porphyry deposits are, relatively low grade. The ones in southern Peru, multiple big giant porphyry deposits in southern Peru are mining copper at about 0.28 to 0.35% copper. It's the economy of scale that makes those mines highly profitable, and the bulk, the sheer bulk tonnage nature of how much rock they move per day in a mine setting like that. So the porphyry target obviously is the granddaddy prize of all for the copper world. The copper supply we know is being stretched. We know there's a looming supply gap that was even there before the clean energy transition, and disruptions in the copper industry are frequent. We saw it obviously with COVID. We've seen it with numerous and repetitive strikes, labor strikes in Chile. We've seen the recent example in Panama. So the investment thesis for copper in particular is outstanding, and we believe that Peru is the right place to be looking for uh, for copper. And we also believe that we've got the right address and the right project to make a big discovery.
Within that, given the data from your geophysics, do you have an arm waving uh, deposit scope and scale, target scope and
We
scale?
have Yeah, we have multiple features within this mega gold target area that are very, very compelling. And I say that not just from my own perspective as the CEO of the junior company, but also I can tell you that the Goldfields team that we've worked with to define this target area are very, very excited about this target. We've worked very closely with Goldfields. One of the great advantages of bringing in a strategic investor is obviously they provide capital, but in the case of Goldfields, they also provided full access to their technical team. And I'm talking about some of the best technical explorers I've worked with in my career, and I spent 22 years with the majors, the likes of BHP, Western Mining, Newmont, and MMG. So I've been around some really exceptional explorers, and I can tell you that Goldfields has some of the best in the business. And their chief geophysicist, in fact, is the guy that designed all of our geophysics. And so when we look at the IP chargeability, for example, and see a shell surrounding a magnetic core type of feature, that's classic porphyry geology, right? So we're in the middle of this drill program now, going out and trying to put some truth to those sections of geophysics, and they call it the truth machine for a reason, because there's no denying what you get out of the drill core when you get it and you're able to look at it and sample it and understand it. So it's very exciting times. Goldfield's excited, we're excited, and we're going to push hard to make a discovery on this.
Well, Dave, assuming some of our attendees are excited, and I think they should be, where do they learn more? Who within the company do they talk to, and how might they reach this person?
Well, they should come directly to me, Rick. They can contact me. I'm very accessible. My phone number is 720-233-2166, or they can email me at dkelley, DKELLEY, at chakanacopper.com.
On behalf of shareholders, which I am, thank you. And thank you, too, for your ongoing support of the Natural Resources Investment Symposium. It'll be a pleasure to host you in Boca Raton.
Thank you, Rick, and thank you for being a shareholder.